What's going on?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up? What's up?
What's new? What is going on with y'all?
Nothing much still on this concoction they call Earth.
Not a concoction.
What the hell it is?
Milton, what about yourself?
I am I'm making it. I'm a little under the weather, but I am making it. No complaints here.
Not under the weather. Do we need to send the troops?
No, I'm actually on like the up end of it. I'm recovering, so I'm
Okay,
good.
okay.
I'm good.
Amen. God is good.
Battle recover.
He is. He is.
Ain't he wonderful? Denzel, what's new with you and these multiple opportunities? What's been going on with that?
Shit, rolling like an 18 wheeler.
Let's
Rolling
see.
like an 18 wheeler. But no, we little
Uh,
small steps, baby steps. We there was
good.
progress though, so I can say that. So I'm good on that.
Okay. Mentally, how is everybody doing?
Mm, this week was a good week mentally for me.
Okay. Milton.
I'm doing good. Mentally this week was it was challenging. There were some challenges that I had to deal with, but I of course rose to the occasion.
Good.
And I feel like I've learned whatever lessons I was supposed to learn from those challenges and I'm moving forward. What did you guys do to find peace and relaxation this week? Anybody can answer.
Well, for me, I actually started doing like taking vitamins. I normally don't take vitamins, but I started taking vitamins and I can see like a little up like a little pep in my step. And also I'm going to Starbucks and just chilling there and doing work on the computer, and it's like you learn a lot just sitting there and watching the people that come through and you just study them. But that's what I did this week. Starbucks was my piece this week.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm gonna add before David goes, it is very, very important. I think we all because we are all now men of a certain age, and it's good to make sure that we get all our vitamins and nutrients, especially if we're not getting them through our diet. I know me, I am not the most healthy eater, so a daily multivitamin is crucial for me. What about you, David?
Men of certain age mean men of the right age, so don't get it twisted.
Well, I didn't mean that as if it was a bad thing to Denzel.
I'm just letting them know who may think it's a bad thing.
What about you, David?
um, I've been doing really well. Uh, I've gotten a lot of exciting news career wise, nothing in stone, but just I finally feel like I'm on the right track to what it is that I like to do.
I remember you mentioning
Yes,
that
sir.
opportunity to me, and I'm wishing you the best for it. I really
It's
am.
already yours, my boy.
Um,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
okay,
I know that's
that's
right.
right. This week I haven't been doing um anything different. Still reading my books and just living in the moment.
I need to order me a book. I need to order me a book to read.
What is your what's your fancy? What do you like to read? Fiction, nonfiction, self-help books? Um
Love stories with sexual scenes in it.
oh, well, you lost me.
Interesting. Not the Zane books.
uh None of
That's not really anything I have to
that.
read about, so
Listen. So I definitely want to add that it's definitely good to hear positive notes from you guys. It could very easily be something different. So it's really good to hear positive notes and hear that things are going well.
it is as we close this week
Yeah,
out.
one day at a time.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is your boy Denzel, one third of As Told by Millennial podcast. Just wanted to take the time to thank you guys for listening to our crazy conversations each week. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at As Told by Millennials. There will be a link via Linktree in the bio. It will direct you to all of our social media platforms as well as our individual accounts. Now let's get this show started.
So Denzel, what's going on in the media? What's happening?
Everything but the right thing.
Uh-oh.
Everything but the right thing. Uh, so we'll start off this week by talking about Twitter. Elon Musk is over there just tearing stuff up. I I really do feel like this man wanted to buy Twitter just to flex and show his muscle, but I really think he regrets it now, and he's just trying to do everything in his power to get them to like put him out.
Like a kid in the candy store.
Yeah, it's
But what
just
what was this I heard about? I saw a post where Brandy has a gold star to be expected. Not a is it a gold star? It's a star. Yeah, a gold star, which is supposed to be something different from the blue star, and now there's a gray star.
well, I don't know about that, but I know he took the Queen star from her or check from her, and I don't like that.
Who is the
But
queen?
Beyonce,
Oh
she
no.
lost her blue
Oh,
check. A lot of
okay.
people lost their blue checks. I don't know what's the purpose, but I think he's trying to make people pay $8 a month. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, there's like a subscription thing that he's offering now where I don't know what day it was. It was one day last
Beyonce
week
still got a blue check.
On Twitter.
where that's probably because her people
Yeah.
may have subscribed to that Twitter Blue thing. But he was saying that people who have recently been grandfathered in as far as celebrities and having verified accounts and stuff were no longer going to have them, and they would have to
Mm.
subscribe to Twitter Blue to have their blue check mark. And then um, there's a gold check mark star thing that means something else, and then there's a gray check mark star thing that means something totally different. So, but I think the thing is he wants people to subscribe. As you know, it's all about capitalism. But he wants people to subscribe and pay like a monthly or annual subscription to have these things. And some celebrities are opting to do so, and some don't really give a shit.
But you know, one thing about Elon Musk that I have realized, he's a smart scammer to me. I won't be paying for no check for what? Only check I want is the one I can cash.
You
I
know,
know that's
I
right.
mean that's the thing about this Twitter Blue thing. Now anybody can have one if you pay your little $8.99 subscription.
I barely want to pay Netflix. You think I'm gonna pay you?
Right. Speaking of
And they
Netflix,
not
the Whitney Houston "I Want to Dance with Somebody" movie is now available
Ooh, guess
on
what else is on there
Netflix.
too that I'm gonna watch?
you know
Well,
Power
what?
Rangers.
goodbye.
Baby, I'm finna watch that movie. I don't care what you say.
I have not seen not one of those Whitney Houston biopic pics.
Oh, they are so
I haven't
good
seen
though. They are
one of
so
them.
good.
I'm not interested. I'm really not interested.
They
I can.
all offer something different, but this most recent one includes a lot of the Robin side of the story, which I think people
You
want
know,
to
that's
see.
something that's really interesting to me what interesting that I find about myself. I don't really want to know my celebrities. I don't
Mm.
want to know them like that. I'm
But
fine with knowing that Whitney
while
Houston
you alive, I
can
don't want to.
sing like nobody else can sing. And I we can leave it right there. Like I don't
Hmm.
really need to know anything else
Exactly.
about it. As long
Yeah.
as you're not out here hurting people, got people locked up in your basements and peeing on them, I don't really care.
Oh.
Not peeing. That's my thing too, and also like it's different with Whitney Houston because like I was able to experience her for a good portion of my life, and like
Hmm.
I don't want
Hmm.
to. I don't care about these other people's point of view. Whitney
Hmm.
showed me what she wanted me to know about her, and
Hmm.
that's all I need to
That's
know.
it.
And I feel like I respect her more though, knowing so much about her life. To me it shows her as so normal. She was such a normal person going through so many of the same issues that we go through, but she felt like she had to work so hard to live her own life.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I kind of feel like Leandria Johnson is kind of going through the things that Whitney Houston was going at a quicker pace than Whitney Houston was, got to
Hmm.
that point in her life. Because Leandria,
Hmm.
she going through some stuff,
Yeah,
but she can sing though.
I know that's right.
Speaking of people going through stuff, what do y'all think about the details that have come out about Jonathan Majors,
You a
about
lie.
his about his management and dropping him, and these text messages that his representation has said was supposed to vindicate him, which I think only really confirmed his guiltiness in the whole situation. What do y'all think about that? What's going on with him?
One meme come to mind when on that situation is that when that supervisor come tap that employee on the shoulder, say, "Go ahead and clock out for me." That's basically what it is. It's over. It's done. Whether it's true or not, it's done for him. I mean, I hope it's not true, but it's so much going on. More people are coming out saying that they were abused by him, like other women. I'm just like, man, yeah, wrap it up. It's over, boy.
So, how do y'all feel on, celebrities in his case, having something scandalous happen and then trying to return to the spotlight? Like we've seen it countless numbers of time where celebrities have these legal battles and stuff like that, and then they make some triumphant return. um, I don't know if it's ever happened to a black celebrity the way it has happened to white celebrities. And I say that because Ezra Miller, who has been doing crazy stuff for years and years, and he always gets these roles in these blockbuster films and blockbuster TV shows. And then you have Robert Downey Jr., who was, known for being on drugs and doing all kind of crazy scandalous things, and he came back to be Iron Man. In all of these Avengers movies, like they get to make these huge comebacks, and I don't know if I've ever seen that on the other side of things, especially when it comes to race.
I think it depends on your audience, like the actor or the celebrity, who their audience is. Like those people that you named, I think most of their audience don't care about their personal life. Like we just got to talking about Whitney Houston, they only care about the talent that they present. Like you're a good actor, that's all I want from you is to act. Whatever else you got in your life going on, I don't care. But then again, that's white America. But I can say only person that I can think of that on the black America side was like Chris Brown. And with him and the Rihanna situation, it took him some time to get back where he was at, where he's at now, but
Hmm.
it wasn't easy though, because when that happened, they were trying to get him out planet Earth.
So you feel that it has more to do with the audience and not with the opportunities that these people may be granted after whatever incident they have.
Right. I feel like urban, like let me see how to say this, in urban pop culture, most fans are so personal with their celebrity crush or whoever, their idol. And once that person does something wrong, it just like, oh no, I can't be associated with you or something like that. And it also goes with the companies as well. Most of these white celebrities and stuff, they have like stakes in most of these companies and stuff like that. Like you can't just, oh, you gonna ask me out? I got I own 25% of this, or I think white America, their contracts are better as well than black America.
Yeah,
White
I agree
America,
with you, and I definitely think it's because they are white. I don't think it's because of their audience or anything. I think it's just because they are white and they are given second chances that are not granted to, people in Black America. Because Jonathan Majors is black, but I wouldn't necessarily consider him as urban. Like the work that he's done is not like a Love and Basketball or a Love Jones or anything. He's making blockbuster hits that are crossovers, like the I can't think of the name of the movie where he was an airman, and Creed, and all of these films. These are big blockbuster crossover hits that are raking in millions and millions of dollars. So I don't know if it's like a an audience thing. I really think it's just. I think it's a race thing. I think it just comes down to race and the chances and the opportunities that are given to people of different races.
Do you think that white America makes sure their contract covers them in case something like that happens? And like, you think like people, like black people, they don't read their contracts as much as white people, or their lawyers don't? I ain't gonna say their lawyers, but it's kind of like you throw money in front of a black person. Like, say if somebody come throw a big check at us, we gonna be ready to sign, not really, looking at the contract or whatnot. Because I feel like most white people, when they do something, those companies can't do nothing because they would have to be out of a lot of money just because they'll still be entitled to their pay.
I feel like that may play a part into it, but usually in these contracts, especially with these big movie deals and stuff like that, there is a publicity clause where you cannot do anything to bring any bad publicity to this project, whether you're white or black. So I feel like that may play a part into it, but I don't even feel like it even has to go as far as into the contracts and stuff like that. I feel like the fact that Robert Downey Jr. was a white man after he was done on his drug binges or whatever else that he went on, when he decided to come back, he was granted more opportunities and a second chance, a true second chance, simply because he was a white man.
And just like that man, what's his name, Alex Beck or something like that, that shot
Alec Baldwin.
the worker on set. Yeah, Alex Ball. He shot a damn worker on set, and he's back on the set now, still filming that same project,
Yeah.
and charges are dropped,
I
whether it was a mistake or not.
Yeah, I feel like, sadly, race always does play a huge role in these types of situations. But um, I am eager to see what happens with this situation, and I'm eager to see the grace that is extended to Jonathan Majors after this situation is over. If, any grace is extended to him at all, I'm just eager to see the outcome.
I,
I don't think anything.
I will say I think the difference between the Alec Baldwin situation and Jonathan Majors is that Alec Baldwin probably has the money that caused the family to drop the suit that they had against him or the charges they had against him. So he probably was able to offer them some money to just kind of shut the fuck up,
I,
about it.
I feel like that has something to do with it, and then I also feel like um, on these film crews and sites and stuff like that, there's like a checks and balances um, thing that is supposed to happen to where that gun should have never been loaded. There should have never been live
Mhm.
rounds in that gun. So that only
Why
happened.
is there a live gun there?
Yeah,
Period.
there shouldn't have been, those there are people who were supposed to have, done their job to ensure that this never happened. So I feel like as much as he is to blame, the people who were supposed to be doing those things is to blame as well. So I feel like that plays a role in why he was, possibly not convicted or, whatever, however that situation ended. But in this situation with Jonathan Majors, if he did assault that woman, it is completely his, that's just on him. There was nobody else to tap him on the hand and be like, no, no, don't do that, or that's not supposed. Like, this is just him and his personal life between the person that he has chosen to be with. So there's a little difference there. But I'm just, I always have very, very interesting views on these situations when they happen in Hollywood.
There's other drama going on in Atlanta with Love and Hip Hop star Little Scrappy, and his Little Scrappy and Erica Dixon's daughter, and Little Scrappy's soon-to-be ex-wife Bambi.
I
Uh,
don't even know who these people
they're
are.
a Little Scrappy. You know who Little Scrappy is.
I
He on
know.
my level, but his daughter, which her name is Imani, she was on FaceTime Live or whatever on Instagram Live, and someone commented on her live asking about her stepmother, which is Bambi, and she just said, I don't know where she's at. Don't ask me about that lady. And Bambi got on live and just lost her cool. Start playing recordings of little Scrappy saying something about basically disciplining Imani, or just basically saying that Erica was a bad mama and all that stuff, and then just posting all kind of stuff saying that she pressed charges, try to call CPS on Erica, saying that she was abusing Imani and stuff like that. And so her and Erica was going back and forth. Even Mama D jumped in it. Imani was reposting her stuff, going back and forth with her. You know, I'll say, do you feel like when a woman marries a man that has kids from a previous relationship, should she be commenting on something, or should she lower herself down to argue with that child regardless of the age, or should she let the husband deal with it?
As a teacher, I could not imagine arguing with a child. What's the end resolution? That's really all I have to say about it.
Nothing at
As
all.
an adult, I couldn't imagine arguing with one either.
Right.
But if she did all that and she came back and just basically like 2 days later after she thought that the internet was gonna be on her side, and they started clowning her, Bambi. They started clowning her really bad, and she came back and this little fake PR apology saying she's gonna do better. She shouldn't have stepped outside of herself or whatnot. But no one knew that her and Scrappy was divorcing and stuff like that because nobody cares. But you blew that situation up. Yeah, Imani probably was being a little disrespectful, but okay, you can let that roll. That's not no lady in the street that can fight. That's your stepchild. That's your children's older sister.
I don't know. This is the thing that really, really scares me and kind of unnerves me a little bit about social media. I just have not, as long as social media has been around, I have not been able to understand why people's opinion matters so much to people. Like if I feel a certain
Hmm.
type of way, or if I think something, I don't need people on social media to get behind me to validate what I feel. And it kind of sounds like that's what was going on with Bambi. Like she got on social media and she was kind of trying to persuade the court of public opinion to get people on her side so her point can seem more valid. But if you feel like Amani disrespected you in some sort of way, like there you don't necessarily need anybody to validate that. Like your feelings of being disrespected are valid in themselves. And it just makes me wonder how far some people are willing to go to get, you know, people on their side, or to get people to validate how they feel, or the fact that they need people to validate how they feel. And they kind of reach out to social media to get those feelings of validation. And it's just, people who are that impressionable they just make me a little uneasy, because it's like,
Mhm.
how far are you willing to go to get this validation that you're seeking? Like, because there's a sector in social media to validate whatever you're feeling. Some of those sectors are good, some of those sectors are bad, some of those sectors are just flat out dangerous. And it's just like, how far are you willing to go, and which sectors are you willing to tap into to get those feelings of validation? And it's just, I don't know, it just makes me a little uneasy with those types of people. Oh, I have, since you brought up Atlanta, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Denzel.
Go ahead.
How do y'all feel about Tyler Perry, like, coming out and saying that he wants to buy as much of BET as he can? Do y'all think that's gonna be a good thing, a bad thing, content wise? Like, how do y'all feel about that?
I think it'll be a good thing because just watching his growth over time. Um, of course, everybody knows that he has some, like, I ain't gonna say his movies are bad, but I think they're like badly produced on some of them, like with the wigs and stuff like that. But the baseline of it is kind of good, but it kind of, I think, like with the more opportunities and the more space and equipment and resources that BET has, it'll be good. And BET needs somebody. BET needs somebody to come save, because at one point in time, BET was the only channel that most black homes would, be on. But now people don't even think about BET. So I think Tyler Perry being on, trying to buy BET would be a good thing, because I think that it would be like everybody wants to work with Tyler Perry,
Hmm.
just based off of the growth that everyone's seen that from him. So I think it'll be a good thing. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Well, I actually think it's a good idea. Tyler Perry pretty much owns everything now. It feels like, um, but I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting news for him as a black man. I think it gives hope to those people who are African American, or just people in general who have big dreams to be able to do things like that. I think it's pretty good.
Who is the president of BET now?
Yeah, because I know Deborah Lee stepped down for a while, right?
Yeah, because
Man
she
wanted to run
she
tell
fucked her
everybody her
way to the top.
business like we cared.
She fucked her way to the
I'm
top,
like,
didn't
who are you?
Nobody cared.
she?
Nobody cared, Deborah.
Deb,
We didn't care.
she fucked her way to the top, didn't it?
Allegedly.
Yeah, because they said that she was the last president, the president before her, that she was his side chick. But yeah,
Interesting.
hmm but yeah,
No, I'm not
I
gonna
don't think.
I'm not gonna degrade Deborah like that and just say that she was a side chick because she was married too. So as much as she was a side chick, Bob was her side digger.
You will call it how you
Roger
see
Bob.
it. Ask Roger Bob.
Okay, since we are talking about Atlanta.
Right. Y'all remember Megan was going through all this stuff. Megan the Stallion was going through all this stuff with Tory Lanez, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she had a song with Lil Baby, and Lil Baby went end up doing a song with Tory Lanez as well. So that caused some rift between them.
Is
And
that Lil Baby or Da Baby?
the baby, one of them damn children, I don't
It's
know.
two of them.
Those are two different people.
He was well, the baby was stopped and interviewed, and they asked him if he was willing to do another song with Megan Thee Stallion, and he was like, "Of course, yeah, I would love to do another song with her." And I'm just
I
looking
bet he
like,
would.
yeah, because she's the only person that could save your career. Because he's another one that just his career went up and all the way down.
Deservedly so.
I don't even think he was out a good year. I mean, he was out for a good period of time, probably like, I would say 2 years, and that was it. And everything else has been trash, and nobody's fucking with him. What was the one thing that knocked him out of his position? Was it? I know he
He
said
said something about people having HIV and AIDS and STDs and something, and then he
oh
said something
yeah.
about guy sucking dick in the parking lot at one of his concerts or something that he said.
Mm.
And there was backlash for that, and he started getting dropped from shows and not being able to book certain shows and book certain venues. And so it was just a downward spiral after that.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Sometimes, you know, s- saying nothing is free.
It is free, and I think that a lot of people should practice just not saying anything because you don't have to do anything when you go out on this stage but perform. That's what people are paying you to do.
Hmm.
You can just come out and perform and and leave. That's always something within your control to do. But let's wrap up the topics there, and we're going to take a little break and we'll move on into the next portion of the show.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Um, I'm going to pose a question to the group. Listeners, of course, we would love to hear your feedback on this once you hear this episode. But I would like to know, whose life are you living? And what does that mean, you may ask?
Hmm.
So really, really, I just want to know, like, how much of the decisions that you make or have made are based on what your family wanted for you versus what you wanted for yourself?
Well, I don't know. I feel like that's a very difficult question to answer. Uh,
Hmm.
Denzel, did you want to answer? Or did you want me to try
I
to
don't know
answer?
who life I'm living. It feels like I'm living Texas Powers life, the as much as the expensive stuff is.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Well, I would say starting off in life, well, I would say from high school. That's when I graduated. That's when I kind of gained control over my life on decisions and stuff.
Hmm.
It was kind of a battle because I know my mom, my parents did a lot to make sure that I was able to be in certain positions to take care of myself and just to live the ideal life where most parents want for their kids. There was a line between what they wanted and what I wanted.
Hmm.
And it came a time in my life where I had to really sit down and just think about, okay, I want one thing, my mom want one thing. I mean, my parents want one thing. I had to kind of like basically go down the list and just kind of see how I can mesh both. I know one thing could be important to her, and I don't care nothing about it. And let me see, I basically really just came to the senses that I need to do what's best for me and just like understand like okay, my mom wanted me to be able to take care of myself. Okay, that's something that we both agreed on. I'm like, okay, I can integrate that for what I want for myself, and that's what I wanted for my life as well. So those things like that, taking care of myself, being a respectful person, um knowing God, those are the three things that I think that she wanted from me that I took. Everything else that she wanted, like, it was kind of, that ain't what I want. And we had that talk, and I had to just basically let her know, like, okay, you raised me to be a young man. Trust me, I want what's best for my life. And sometimes I still think I'm living a little life for them,
Hmm.
their life, their expectations. And on certain things like basically like on new opportunities like moving around like before I stayed here in Texas. Moving here to Texas was a big thing. Me moving to Texas was so mind-boggling, so stressful for me for the first time. I was so fearful because my mom lived a life where you get a job, a good job, and you stay there and you make it work. I'm not that type of person. That was one thing that I feel like, I chose myself, my life, what I wanted. And my mom, she actually ended up respecting it. So I feel like I'm living my life.
Okay, that's an interesting answer.
I know. I wasn't expecting that.
Melissa, you want to go next, or you want me to go next?
I'll go.
All right.
Um, I definitely feel like at this point in my life, I'm living my own life. There have been times, growing up where you kind of do things with, your parents and your family and their expectations of you in mind. But I feel like as you grow and you mature and your sense of independence grows, you kind of move outside of that and you kind of make decisions based on the future that you want and the life that you would like to see come to fruition. So now I feel like I'm living my own life. I still do things that I hope don't disappoint my mother and my father and my family. Like, I don't want to be a disappointment, of course. Nobody wants to be a disappointment to their family, but that's not the driving force. Um, and that's not something that's always at the forefront of my mind. I feel at this point, my intentions behind the decisions I make is to yield what I want to see in life to produce
Hmm.
the future that I want for myself. And if that is something that my parents and my family just can't get behind, then, okay, we'll deal with that as it comes. I'm not one of those type of people who feel that you have to have family and you have to have even your parents in your life, because if they're not, adding to you and being the type of person that you need in your life, then I feel like, then that connection and that interaction with them can be cut just like it can be cut with anybody else. So
Hmm.
my mother and I now have an understanding, and she knows, and I think she's known for quite a while because I've been this way for quite a while, that she knows that I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm never going to lead with the intentions to hurt anybody or to disappoint her or to disappoint myself or to make things harder for myself. But I am going to do the things that I feel strongly about. I'm going to make the decisions that I feel have my best interest at heart. And sometimes that is selfish, and that is not always a bad thing. I hate for people to always make
Mhm.
being selfish like it's just a horrible thing. Like, you need to put yourself first sometimes, and you need to make decisions with yourself only in mind. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like a law of survival. Like, it's just normal. So I at this point in my life, I'm living my life. I'm living for myself. And like Denzel said, some of the things that I want just happen to coincide with what my family and my parents may want for me. Sometimes it
Hmm.
doesn't. I'm pretty sure my mother and my father would love to see me married with children right now. I don't want to be married, and I ain't really just that big on kids. So,
Hmm.
that's just something that they just gonna have to live with, the possibility of that may never happen. I've
Hmm.
accepted it. I'm cool with it, and it doesn't keep me up at night. I'm fine with it. So it's
Sleep
just,
like a
stuff like, yeah, sleep like a baby every night. I don't want a baby, but I'm
I
it's
know
just
that's
stuff
right.
like that that you know, you kind of you get a handle on as you get older and as you mature. So
Hmm.
I'm living for Milton.
I often tell people that, it jokingly, I say I'm living my life like it's golden, like the song Jill Scott or whatever. But it took time and it took living life for me to get to that point. Um, for me growing up, I initially always wanted to make my family happy. I'm like, oh, I want to make my family proud. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I can remember back to the first instance of learning that you can't um, please everybody, with your life or the decisions that you make. One of them was when I was younger, I decided I wanted to grow my hair out. I wanted to grow my hair out. I think I ended up growing my hair out, and then Milton and I drove, took a vacation out here to Dallas. And when I got here, I cut my hair off. Well, I cut my hair off because everybody was saying, "Oh, what you gonna do with this hair? What's this on top of your head?" Yada yada yada. This was before all the guys started wearing, like the little curly fro and putting a little sponge in their head. This was before all of that. And I remember just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna cut it off," because everybody always got something to say about my hair. So I cut my hair off, came back home to Mississippi, and everybody's like, "Why you cut your hair off? Why you cut your hair off?" And I remember thinking to myself, like, "Damn, like you can't please people at all. Like no matter what you do, you cannot please people." But I just remember, that was one of my first life lessons with, you can't always make everybody happy. And another instance was my dream growing up was to always go to college for fashion. I wanted to go to school for fashion and move to Atlanta.
Hmm. Hmm.
And my not only my parents but even family would say, "Well, everybody want to move to Atlanta. That's where all them gay folks at." And I was like, "Well, I don't want to be recognized as that." So I turned away from something that I wanted to do because I didn't want people to look at me a certain way.
I
That's
get that. I definitely get
Hmm.
that. And
Hmm.
um I just I wish parents and family and I wish they would realize how much they take away from you, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
imposing their expectations and what they want to see on you. They would I wish they would see somehow how much joy and they take away from you doing that, just kind of crushing your own
Mm-hmm.
dreams and stuff like that. On the flip side though, I do understand and take into consideration that your family does live through you. They
Mm-hmm.
really do live through you. And sometimes, and most times, they really do want the best for you. And they kind of live all of their hopes and their dreams and all of the opportunities that they weren't afforded through you. Because, the
Mm-hmm.
generations, and we see it now, the generations coming behind us will have it so much better and
Yeah.
sometimes so much easier than we'll have it. And so you kind of, and I do it now, I kind of urge and push and drop subtle hints and stuff to some of my younger cousins and stuff like that. Like, hey, you might want to think about a career in the medical field. None of them people ain't
Mm-hmm.
never said nothing to me about wanting to be in the medical field. I mean,
Yeah.
they never even said a word to me about that. But it just I know that it's something that they're capable of doing. Being in the medical field, I know that it's a promising life. It's a life that will
Mm-hmm.
give them, opportunities and the resources to have a good life. And so I kind of push that on them. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, they haven't uttered an interest in being in the medical field to me at all. So I kind of get it,
Mm-hmm.
but I still try not to cross the line to where I'm just berating them with these suggestions and stuff like that. But
Right.
I feel like I totally understand how you can get caught up in it, especially thinking about my grandparents and my older uncles and stuff like that. Like I definitely get caught up in how they can kind of um, I understand how they can get caught up in kind of pushing that and kind of wanting to see those things that they were never able to do play out in
Mm-hmm.
your life or in somebody's life in their family because we've all said it, and I know David and I've said it before, Denzel and I've said it before. When my friends win, I win. When people in my family
Absolutely.
Yeah.
win, I win. When they have successes, it's just like it happened to me. When my cousins go
Mm-hmm.
get a new car, it's just like we got a new car. It's just like I got a new, like
Yeah.
I feel that, and so I understand that they feel the same way. When one of us graduates from college, we all graduated from college. When
Yeah.
one of us goes to
Yeah.
med school, nursing school, goes to become a teacher or whatever, goes to do whatever, that's happened to all of us. That's like a shining
Mm-hmm.
light, like a beacon in the family. Like they are so proud and they're filled with so much joy to see those things
Mm-hmm.
happen in the family. Not even if it's not happening to themselves, just to see it
Mm-hmm.
happen in the family. So I definitely see how they can get caught up in being a little too pushy and being a little overbearing with their expectations and stuff like that. But I also
Mm-hmm.
wish that they would see how much they take from you and how much they rob you and how much they kind of dim your light when they just kind of pour their expectations on top of what you already want and what you already want to do for yourself. So
Right. Yeah, I can agree to that. One thing about millennials, though, we always fight through certain things. I can just look back on it now, and I definitely feel like the decisions that I make as an adult are is whatever I want, you know. And like you
Yeah.
said, you weigh the consequences. If I do this, this is what's going to happen. Or if I do this, this is what's going to happen. And I accept, okay, this is going to be the consequence of the decision that I make, but I'm going to do it because I want to do it.
I think parents just have to understand, okay, if you know you did your best to raise a upstanding individual, you need to trust them that they're
Mm-hmm.
going to utilize the tools that you provided to them raising them, that they're
Mm-hmm.
going to make the best decision for them as an adult to be able to provide, be able to be a good standing citizen, and just to be overall a good person. you
Mm-hmm.
you got to trust them and allow them to find their own way, because you're putting unnecessary pressure on them. You and parents have to remember also, at one point in time you was at the same stage that your child is at, and you know how you felt at that time. You wanted to do this, but something else happened. Why would you put that same pressure on your kids? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, push them to be the best they can be. But they might not want to be that doctor. Some of them might want to be a barber. That's what they want to do. Make sure they be the best one they could be.
Yeah. And that leads me to another question. What does it mean to you to really live?
Ooh,
Like, what is really living in your definition?
mm, mm, mm.
Um, I am still creating that definition, and I am discovering new things that add to
Mhm.
that definition every day. The more I learn about myself and the more I discover myself, the more I'm able to really add to that definition and then apply it to my life. But right now, I can tell you that living for me is doing the things that bring me joy, doing the things that bring me peace, doing the things that don't add to this already stressful life, doing the things that make me smile, doing the things that are free and not financially free, but just emotionally and free of consequence and free of there's not like a trade-off. Like I get to do this thing, but then I have to, sacrifice some sort of, emotional um emotional ground, or like I have to be sad and and stressed out afterwards, just doing the things that are free, like just walking, going outside, walking through nature, like I think Denzel mentioned that on a previous
Yeah.
episode, and
Mhm.
reading books and just really focusing on the things that bring me joy and bring me peace and bring me happiness, and then trying to remove the things that don't, and have a good balance of the two. And I know that you're not going to be able to remove all of the things in your life that don't bring you joy, because then life would be perfect, and this life is anything but perfect.
You gonna be
But
perfect.
just finding the balance in those things, and being unafraid to go and do those things like this. I feel like doing this podcast is an example of me living, because we've talked about doing this for so long, and
Mhm.
we would always come up with excuses, and at one point it was when I get out of school, and when I know my schedule, and when when things calm down in life, and when we're a little bit more stable, and I think one day we just, we were tired of making excuses, and the fear of it all had got kind of old, and we were like, just do it. Let's just do it.
Let's just
Like, let's
do
just
it.
get on here and record, and
Yeah.
we just see where it goes. Like the fear of it all and the fear that surrounded it all had gotten really old, and I feel like we were just kind of over it, and we were just like, let's do it. And I feel like the same thing applies to life. Like at some point the fear that surrounds doing these uncomfortable things and doing these new things that you may have always wanted to do, at some point it gets old and you just want to go for it, and it's great. There's always something good on the other side of fear. So to me, that's living.
I would definitely say we have been talking about doing a podcast probably since what, 2015,
I don't know, I know you were living
2016.
in Jackson. I know you were still living in Jackson. Denzel, you were still in Tupelo.
Hmm.
So yeah, what is living to you, Denzel?
Well, living for me would be living a life where each day I push myself to be better than I was the day before, but also being appreciative of what I have at the moment and being at peace at what I have at the moment. I feel like a lot of time people in life they only look at what they don't have, and I'm I'm guilty of that as well. And I always be thinking about, material. I ain't gonna say material things all the time, but I just think about a lot of stuff like what's missing, whether it be like relationship wise, family wise, like my relationship with my birth father and stuff like that. Like why isn't it how I think it should be? Why isn't it perfect and stuff like that? Career wise and stuff like that. And I would love to just be 100% like I ain't gonna say comfortable, but at peace with my current situation, but still pushing myself to be the best I am.
What do you think is stopping you from being at peace with your current situation?
I feel like not that I'm not at peace. I am. I'm halfway there. I think the only thing that I'm having issues with is accepting that some things are out of your control and it's not your fault. Cause like certain situations, I mean, you can think about like I could have did this, I could have did that to make it better or something like that. And you just have to realize you could have did that and still the situation still could have panned out the way it is.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
have a issue with like just letting some stuff be, but I'm learning that now, especially as I get older. It's like it's nothing you can do about that, and why waste time even trying to, worry about it? If it's gonna get fixed, it's gonna get fixed when God wants it to get fixed, and
Hmm.
you just gotta utilize the time that you have to be productive, happy, and at peace. So I'm getting there.
Yes.
Hmm. That kind of helps lead me into what I was gonna say. I think that truly living is being able to accept people, being able to accept places and things just for what they are, the good, the bad, the ugly. It all plays a role in this thing that we call life. And I think that when I think about life, it's had its ups and downs, and I feel like that it has made me such a strong person. The older I get, the more bulletproof I feel myself becoming. And when I look back over specifically just the last year, of me and Milton would get on the phone when we was having them rough night in school.
Yes,
He
Lord.
up studying and he calling me like, "Bitch, get in them books," and I'm like, "Nigga, I'm over here crying because this shit stressing me out." You know, grad school is on my ass, especially starting a new job full time, being in grad school full time. I finished that program a whole semester earlier than what I was supposed to, just because I was really like hitting it hard and trying to get it out of the way. But I look back on um, just the things that happened throughout that year, and I still had to keep my head on straight to be able to handle going to work, you know, going to school, having car wrecks, just being able to budget certain things so that everything was taken care of so that it didn't, throw me out of whack or put me in a place to where I couldn't still do what I needed to do. So just looking back over how hard that year was, but still being able to say, I trust God, you know, I trust God. And then hearing my friends say, oh, well, it's you we talking about, you're going to be all right. And Milton used to always say, I'm not worried about you. You know, bitch, the world could be coming down and you're going to figure out a way to get out. But and I used to take a lot of credit for that, but I really owe that to God, to just being able to show me how to bounce, how to maneuver, and how to be prepared for whatever. But it also taught me that when I'm going through something, I'm not there alone. Like God is literally sitting right there, like, nigga, I'm right here. Why are you so stressed? Live in the actual moment. Learn what
Yeah.
you need to learn in that season. And as soon as you accept those things, it's like the door opens. So it's like, okay, lesson learned. You learn what you need to learn. You accepted it, and you know not to go down that road again. But even the scripture talks about don't grow weary when you face troubles of many kind, because we know that trials produce perseverance. So it only makes us stronger. There's nothing out there that can really take us out. And Milton and I have this joke when we say, something bad happened, or we'll be like, that bitch tried to kill me, and then somebody will say, it's gonna take more than that to take me out of here. And that's just the
Right.
way I kind of live life. Like it's gonna take more than that to take me out of here.
After all I have been
I
through,
ain't
it's
going
gonna take a
nowhere.
whole lot more than this little stuff now to take me out of here.
Yeah, yeah, but it definitely has helped with my anxiety. I used to deal with anxiety a lot in my early 20s, and now I just be like, fuck it all. I'm gonna tell God, and I'm gonna move on about my life. I can't stress about it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just not having this this thought or this notion how we handle
Mm-hmm.
stress totally differently. How you
Mm-hmm.
have anxiety about stress, and
Mm-hmm.
me, I totally detach from it. Like
And me,
if stuff
I
starts to
lose
stress
my
me out,
mind.
oh, I have seen that. It is not pretty. But when stuff like we all handle it so differently, like y'all kind of
Mm-hmm.
stress and get anxiety about it and stuff, and I'm gonna tell you, I will be so detached. Like my house will
Mm-hmm.
be sitting over there on fire, and I'll be outside drinking my glass of wine. Like I can't deal with that right now. Like I just can't deal with it right now. Mhm.
Yeah, Milton will be like, David, you're gonna be just fine. And then he'll be like, sit over there and stress about that. And I'll be like, which I'm stressed. And when you look back on it, it'd be such the smallest stuff
Yeah.
that you were stressing over, especially when you come through, you'd be like, oh, that wasn't about nothing.
Is
A
that
waste of
all?
time.
Most of the time.
I've got a question. So since we're having this discussion about life and kind of whose life are we living, and was there a point, like, is there a certain point in your life where you had to stop and just kind of had like a revelation of some sort, and you were like, I don't want to do this. Like your life was just so off track from what you wanted, like, and it may not have been what your parents wanted you to be doing, but you know how you just kind of going with the flow and you kind of end up somewhere where you didn't expect to be, and it's not really what you wanted to do, and at some point you just have this revelation like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not what I want to
Mhm.
do with my life. And I know I had that before I decided to go back to school. I was at work one night and I was like, I don't want to be here. This does not make me happy. I am depressed at the thought of having to come to this job, and I'm sick of it. Like, I'm sick of feeling like this. I'm sick of having to come put in these hours at this place I don't want to be, with these people I don't want to interact with. Like, I could be doing so much more. And by so much more, I mean I could be doing something that brings me joy, that brings me
Mhm.
fulfillment. Like, did y'all have a point in y'all's life or career or past careers where you were like, I'm sick of this life that is not mine. Like, I don't know whose life this is that I'm living, but this is not my life, and it's not the life that I want for myself.
Definitely have been in that space where I was just like, you know what? This ain't gonna get it. It's not gonna get it. And it was one of those situations where I had to make the decision for myself, because if you call people and ask people, people may try to say, well, that's your job, you should go, till you find something else. Don't quit no job till you find something else. But sometimes you gotta follow your gut. And I can remember looking back on times where I didn't leave a job that my spirit was telling me to leave, or that my anxious body was telling me to leave, and I stayed there and missed out on opportunities that could have been for me, or should have been for me, and I missed it the first time. Because I wasn't listening to myself or trusting myself enough to make that jump or have that faith, to do it. But it definitely takes a toll on you. I can look back on days of literally feeling like I was gonna faint, because the job was stressed you out so bad, and you were only there because you felt like you had to have that job, or you had to be in a situation that you knew wasn't for you.
Yeah, likewise here. Before I moved to Texas, I was in my home state, working a job that was paying really good for the area. Was there 8 years. When I first got that job, week number two, I called my mom. I was like, I'm ready to come home. Like, I'm not, this ain't it. This lady out here talking about her husband cheating. This man out here digging in his nose. I don't want to be around these people. I end up staying there 8 years after that. I was getting paid really good. I would buy myself stuff that I wanted. I would go get a new car and stuff like that to try to
Mm,
cover up
yes.
the hush bills. Try to cover up the fact that I wasn't happy or something. Just like just try to prep myself up. But all of those things, with me even doing all that stuff, which I love cars and stuff like that, it still didn't make me happy. And I remember talking to my mom about, like, I just want to go somewhere. I wanted to get a new job. I want to move and stuff like that. And she was so worried. I understand why, because, like, okay, you're able to provide for yourself. You can do what you want to do. You stay by yourself, all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes money just ain't enough. It got to the point where I was like, I started realizing patterns. Like when I would say something like about moving or finding another job, somehow they would talk me out. My family, like my mom, my brother, and stuff like that. They would try to like, just like think about it a little bit more, and I end up talking myself out of it. But I got to the point where I'm just like, okay, shut up. Do what you gonna do. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. They'll fall in line. If they don't, they don't.
Sometimes in life you just need to see one thing go right, and it builds
Hmm.
your faith in such a way that you have faith that everything after that is going to be just fine. The thing that makes me a little sad is like you'll never get all of that time back. Like all of that time you
Oh,
spent
yeah.
at that place you didn't want to be at with those people you didn't want to be with, doing something that you didn't
Mhm.
want to do. And I did it for 9 years, I think. Like that was most of my 20s. I'll never get that back. I just think about sometimes how life could have been different. And not saying that my life is bad now, but just how, what it would have looked like if I had made the decision to, leave that job earlier and pursue nursing a little bit earlier. And who's to say it would have turned out good? It may not have turned out good. I may not have been mature enough to handle it at that point in my life. It may,
Probably
you
wasn't your
know,
time.
yeah, it probably wasn't my time. I'm pretty sure it happened, when it was supposed to happen. And I feel like that's the same way for Denzel moving to Texas, David deciding to go to grad school. Like, I feel like all these things happen when they were supposed to happen in our lives, when we were ready to handle them. But if you're in a situation like this and you have goals and aspirations and dreams that you kind of want to chase and you're not doing so because you don't feel like they align with somebody else's expectations of you, then it may be time to kind of adjust your perspective a little bit and realize that this is your life and you have the control and the ability and everything you need to make this life whatever it is you want to be for yourself. Just think about that. I think that's going to wrap up this week's episode, you guys. We thank you guys for listening. As always, wherever you're listening to your podcast, please subscribe and make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at As Told by Millennials. Is there anything else from you guys? A positive note, an affirmation, upcoming event that you want people to be aware of?
I just definitely wanted to encourage everybody to ask themselves, whose life are you living? Make decisions that make you happy. Do the things that bring you joy.
Also, I just want to send a huge prayer and shout out to one of our favorite podcasters, Kid Fury. Our prayers are with you.
Yes. So we want to send a big shout out to Kid Fury and what he's going through and lift him up in prayers and good energy. But yes, this has been another episode of As Told by Millennials, and we thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you next week.
I came
Bye.
here to let you know